You can find a so-called black box in planes, trains, and now automobiles. Millions of cars, trucks, and SUVs now have data recorders. In a special report on the car black box, we examine whether a computer that can spy on your driving habits is helpful or harmful.
I've connected the crash data retrieval interface device.
With a special cable, a laptop, and access to your late-model GM car, someone can learn more than you might want to reveal about how you drive.
That's kind of scary.
The info will come from an event data recorder, better known as a black box. Remember how in school you'd learn a lot of information but remember only the good parts? That's kind of how the black box works. It's constantly learning about your driving habits, but only when something important happens, or almost happens, does it remember the details. Your airbag system cues the black box to remember its data if you crash, or even if you just slam on the brakes. It keeps data from the 5 seconds before the crash or sudden stop. Whether your brake light was on, your throttle, or how far you were pressing the gas pedal, the engine speed in RPMs, and how fast you were going.
And the vehicle speed is shown at about 58 miles per hour, 5 seconds before impact.
Engineer Chad Bible uses the black box to reconstruct accidents.
It does give us a good picture, an overall picture of what happens in the 5 seconds prior to the crash. This will tell us what the status is of the driver's seatbelt at the time of impact.
Brian McHenry studies what vehicles do when they roll, crash, spin, or in the case of James Bond,
what the hell you doing now, boy?
when they go airborne. His father, Raymond McHenry, designed this stunt for the James Bond movie Man with the Golden Gun. McHenry Consultants, based in Cary, North Carolina, created this animation for CBS involving the fatal accident of Princess Diana in 1997. Her Mercedes did not have a black box. McHenry says it would have helped French police.
Because it took them a year or so to finish their report, and they could have downloaded the data and probably got a pretty good indication of what was happening, what was the speeds, etc.
But the use of this data in a courtroom is still in its infancy.
The issue is people don't even know they have it on their car.
And the black box could be a Pandora's box of legal issues.
I wish I would have known it before I bought the car.
It involves several constitutional issues, the primary being the issue of privacy.
Winston-Salem attorney Carl Parrish says if you don't even know you have a black box, you'd have a hard time claiming privacy regarding the information it contains.
If they can't take my word, then, that should, good enough.
It's easy to anticipate a challenge from an individual. Basically, it would be a search and seizure type of an issue.
The black box is a mystery to many police officers, too. Stan McHenry investigates crashes for Durham police.
Your average law enforcement officer is unaware of the fact that that data even exists or that there is a mechanism to retrieve it.
Ever since there have been airbags, has this data been available but just not accessible?
I'm sure there were some kind of computers, but I believe that they were, no, certainly not this sophisticated.
But that sophistication could mean that you and your ride have something to hide.
I'd like having a witness on board. So if there's a question of, well, how fast were you going, or what were you doing, or who did what first, on the other side, of course, obviously, if I'm breaking the law, speeding, and I get in an accident, I wouldn't want that.
Right now, just about every GM model has a car black box, and Ford is phasing them in as well. Attorney Parrish says the reform that's needed is for car makers, not necessarily the local dealers, but the car manufacturers, to let people know they have them in the car before they buy the car. Winston-Salem police say they have never used data from a car black box, and they have no current plans to do so. We also talked with the State Department of Insurance, and a spokesperson there says she knows of no case where an insurance company in North Carolina has used black box data for any reason either. But it's there.
Yes.
In many cars.
That could be dangerous.